Finds herself on the other side of the bench. Judge Hannah Dugan pleading not guilty earlier today after allegedly helping an illegal migrant evade ICE agents last month. Garrett Tenney has got the latest for us live from Milwaukee. Garrett, what penalties could this judge face if she's found guilty?
Yeah, well, Sandra, she's looking at up to 6 years in prison and a $350,000 fine if she is convicted. Today's hearing was over in less than 5 minutes. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan pleaded not guilty to the charges that she allegedly helped an illegal immigrant evade arrest by ICE agents outside her courtroom last month. In this hearing, we did learn that there is some video evidence the government has as part of its case. But as you mentioned, her defense team is arguing this case should be dropped altogether because they claim she has judicial immunity for her official acts, which they argue includes removing anyone from her courtroom who could disrupt it. And while they cite the Supreme Court's ruling last year in the presidential immunity case against then former President Trump, Jonathan Turley and other legal experts question how far those immunity claims can actually go.
I don't see how you can argue that, because it raises the question, well, what else could she do? Could she have redirected or misled court staff? Could she have hidden this person in her office for a day? I mean, at what point does she stop acting as a judge?
This morning, a couple hundred people rallied outside the courthouse for Judge Dugan's hearing to protest the charges against her.
Today we are here to take a stand with solidarity with Judge Dugan, a hero.
I don't like having a judge shackled. It's an indication of like some show trial that we're going to have.
We're seeing the downfall of democracy, the end of democracy.
Protesters told us they plan to continue to show up as this case plays out, and Judge Dugan's trial is scheduled to get underway July 21st, and it's not expected to last very long. Her defense team said they expect it will be over in just 1 week. Sandra?
All right. Appreciate the reporting live there in Milwaukee for us. Thank you. John?
Sandra, let's dig a little deeper on this with Joseph Humire, Executive Director of the Center for a Secure Free Society, also a Senior Fellow at the America First Policy Institute. So here are the charges that the judge is facing, Joseph, and great to see you again. Federal felony count of obstruction and a misdemeanor count of concealing a person to prevent an arrest. Here's what she said, though, in response, seeking to get this case dismissed. This is through her filing in the court. The problems with this prosecution are legion, but most immediately, the government cannot prosecute Judge Dugan because she is entitled to judicial immunity for her official acts. Immunity is not a defense to the prosecution to be determined later by a jury or court. It is an absolute bar to the prosecution at the outset. Judges do have judicial immunity for things that they do and decisions that they make in the courtroom, but does that extend to secreting an illegal alien who ICE wants to deport out the back door so that they can get away?
Yeah, not just an illegal alien, John, a terrorist. And that's the purpose of the designation of cartels as terrorists, the Tren de Aragua as terrorists. It's mind-boggling why any American would want to harbor a terrorist inside the United States, much less a judge. But it seems like every other week we're hearing about another judge trying to protect these
there's
terrorists.
a fellow in New Mexico as well.
Exactly. So what we're starting to see, and this is the question for the intelligence community and the law enforcement community, we're starting to see subversion. Subversion of our judicial system by criminal organizations that are tied to adversarial nation states. That's the impetus of Tren de Aragua. We've talked about it many times on the show. Tren de Aragua is not your normal criminal organization, not your normal terrorist organization. They have state sponsorship. And I know this has been a point for the intelligence community to debate, but anybody that doesn't think that the Tren de Aragua is sponsored by the Venezuelan government doesn't know anything about Venezuela. Venezuela has been using non-state actors since the beginning of the Bolivarian Revolution. It wasn't just Tren de Aragua. It was the colectivos, the Bolivarian circles. The Tren de Aragua is the most latest iteration of that, and that's the definition of asymmetric warfare. So we're starting to see that hitting our shores here inside the United States, hitting the streets of the United States, and President Trump trying to take care of that problem once and for all.
But this judge just seemed to see the bad federal enforcement coming for this person, and so she decided, allegedly, to let him out the back door. There was a hearing on Capitol Hill yesterday. Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, was there talking about all of this. Eric Swalwell, who's been known to badger a witness from time to time, decided to go down this road with the photograph of the hands of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Listen here.
I want you to have
with
credibility,
law enforcement.
and I want you to be taken seriously. Is this doctored or is it not
Sir,
doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Madam Secretary, I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
I don't have any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take her?
don't, sir.
Can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo.
So what is your point? Are you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal.
Ma'am,
He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS.
You vouched.
So why are Democrats going down this road? I mean, this is an 80-20 issue, and they're on the wrong side of it.
And that's the wrong case. I mean, if you're going to try to defend someone, an immigrant, Kilmer Garcia is not the guy you're going to defend, because you just look at his track record. I mean, there's trafficking charges, there's domestic abuse charges, there's gang affiliation charges. I mean, this guy walks, talks, and sounds like a gang member. Most likely he is a gang member. I think the DHS has the evidence on that. They know it, and that's why Secretary Noem's so confident in asserting that. But what Secretary Noem's actually asserting to is a larger problem, right? And it goes to what we're saying, this idea. It's not just the gang members, the criminals, the terrorists that are infiltrating us, but it's the saboteurs that are behind them, that are connecting these networks and basically being able to proliferate all throughout the country. And I think Secretary Noem, President Trump are tackling that larger challenge. Members in Congress and these judges don't understand that. They don't understand this is a national security issue. The livelihood of Americans depends on President Trump solving this problem. It's why he was elected into office.
Speaking of proliferation, there's this new gang that's operating in New York City. It's a gang of juveniles called Diablos de la 42.
Yeah.
Diablos, the Little Devils of 42nd Street. Apparently, the ringleader was arrested the other day, but he's probably going to get let out. One New York City police officer said, short of murder, there are no mechanisms to hold juvenile offenders accountable. So, I mean, what do you do about these juveniles who are out there saying, oh, we're going to be the real badass trendy Arago, and they're terrorizing Midtown? They beat up some kid with autism on Staten Island.
Yeah, the mechanism that these gangs and these terrorists are using is lawfare, and they're understanding the legal loopholes that we have. They understand that there's different distinctions between juveniles and adults. So they're saying, okay, if we recruit juveniles, deploy the juveniles to the street, even if they're just 17 years old, 1 year later they're going to be an adult, and they can commit these heinous crimes, we can get them impunity. And what the impunity is, isn't just to get this criminal out of jail, it's a narrative that they're trying to form, that the U.S. judicial system doesn't work. The U.S. judicial system doesn't protect your sovereign Americans. The U.S. judicial system is broken. That's the narrative that these gangs are trying to project all throughout the world, is that America's democracy is no longer.
Yeah, we saw the case that Jonathan Hunt was talking about in Colorado of the 15-year-old who, in a high-speed crash, 90 miles an hour, killed that 24-year-old, and he got it with a slap on the wrist. I mean, it is possible to try a juvenile as an adult in circumstances.
It is, especially when it has to do with homicide, manslaughter, people dying. You can try juveniles as adults up to, I think, the age of 14. So I think there's legal loopholes that they're going to have to address. But fundamentally, the biggest problem, the big takeaway for all Americans is to understand that the challenge that we're facing today inside the United States is greater than just criminals and terrorists roaming the streets. There's an attack on the United States by the enemies of the United States, both foreign and domestic. So the President Trump, all the secretaries of his cabinet are dealing with this issue, and I think Americans need to support that because our safety and security depends on it.
And Democrats seem to be doing nothing but resisting it. Joseph, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.